welcome to Nuggets of Wisdom. It's nice to have you here again today. Today we are talking about differences in relationship, differences in our lives. I'll be asking my husband some questions about, there's some obvious differences with a man and a woman, but how does how does it affect our relationship?
Good. Hello, everyone. Differences. The wonderful thing is that there's a common saying that opposites do attract. So what that means is that our differences do fascinate each other. Let me give you an example of ourselves. When we met, I found that what attracted me to my wife, first of all, was that I saw someone who was free. She was free to express her feelings. She was free to talk. And that kind of fascinated me. I'm thinking, I'm not like that. And it kind of drew me to her because, it attracted me to her. And on the other end, I was more reserved. I was more quiet. So you see, the opposites do attract, definitely. But the thing about differences is, along the line, it can create a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Along the line, it can create a problem. So that's what we'll be talking about today. How does this create problem?
Yes, so that's actually it. How does this? Because like you said, you pointed out that this difference is actually attract. So I remember then he used to feel like I talk a lot. And like, how can someone talk like this? And I can say, over the years in our marriage, especially the early part of our marriage, that was a problem, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Because I was thinking, even though, like I said before, it's what attracted me to you, but later on it became a burden. I'm thinking, can't this person just keep quiet? Can't you leave me alone? Now, it's fascinating and kind of intriguing as well that the very thing that drew us together is trying to push us apart. And you find that it varies from person to person.
Yeah.
So your difference might be that, okay, the other person is a spender and you're a saver, or, differently, or the way you're tidy and the other person is, just different things that you just look at. It might not necessarily be in the same field, but you just look at something that you don't have and you're thinking, wow, I love that person beside me because they have it. So for us, differences drew us together, but the more, when you become comfortable, you forget that that's what you need to keep developing. So I think we get into a point in our relationship where you become weary of the differences. And I think along the line, we get selfish, where you want to now change the person to become like you. For instance, I'm quiet. I'm beginning to think, I'm better than you because I'm quiet. And you might be thinking you're better than me because you can talk and express your feelings.
So that's actually the point I wanted to make. So the point is, the fact that we're different doesn't mean that one is bad and one is good. It's just a personality thing, isn't it? So that's actually what we want to focus on. Just personality traits that just gets in the way.
Yeah, definitely. It's a personality thing. We're not talking about wrong differences. We're not talking about illegal differences. We're just talking about personality differences.
Yeah.
How we're brought up, who, the kind of person we are. Let's go back to ourselves. So you find that you can express your feelings. I find it more difficult. You have to pull it out of me. So there's a point we get to in our relationship where you're frustrated and thinking, why can't you just talk to me freely? And I'm thinking, why can't you just slow down? Why are you overloading me with information? So our differences now become a burden, and I now want to change you. I'm thinking, okay, you know what? A better person is the person who keeps quiet, who doesn't talk very much. So I'm trying to say, okay, why not talk less? Why not do that? And you're thinking a better person is a person who can express their feelings easily, and so you should be free. So we encroach on each other, and now we become to tear each other apart because we begin to blame each other that we're different. For instance, I know one very big difference between you and I is that when you have a plan, you have an information, you jump on it straight away. You want to do it yesterday.
Yep.
I have a plan. I want to brood on it. I want to look at where are the loopholes. Now, the point is, we've had situations where that has created tension in our relationship, where you are thinking, oh, you're too slow, you should have done that, now we missed out something. Or I'm thinking, now look at that, you rushed into that situation, now you've cost us something. So none is better than the other. I think along the way, what happened for us is that we now realize that instead of allowing our differences to push us away from each other, why not let's find a way of complementing one another? So that we actually, and I think it takes humility to acknowledge that, look, you're this, I am this, we're different. Now there'll be times when you jumping on the project immediately and doing it will be a massive advantage to us.
Exactly.
And there will be times when giving me space to do it my way and slow down and take my time will do it. But none is better. And from experience, we found out that if we're careful to allow each other to come in and influence the situation, not necessarily, that means, what I mean is allow the other person to influence you willingly. So you're not forcing me, you're not getting on me, you're not nagging me. Then I can want to do what you do. The same thing if I'm not nagging you and telling, look, you're too fast and all that. I'm not nagging you. Now, for both of us, we've been able to influence each other in a way.
So I think it is actually easier said than done,
Yes.
and we know this as well. The hardest thing, and we've been talking about it today, the hardest thing is doing things together. I'd rather do things by myself. So, for example, like you said, I have an idea. I just want to do it. I want to cross all the T's and dot all the I's. He has an idea. He'll take months brooding on it, which can be really frustrating. But what I wanted us to get to is, how do you actually do that in practice? How do you allow each other? Because some people just give up and say, okay, you do your own, I do my own.
Yeah.
We know by experience, even though we know it's tough, it's hard to do things together, but we know by experience that when we actually come and do it,
Yeah.
it's more beneficial to us,
Yeah.
to our relationship, and to our family.
Definitely. We've seen situations where, and I think the idea is coming to the place where you know that because you're together for a reason. There's something that attracts, there's something that's good in both of you.
Yeah.
God brought you together for a reason, and and I think it's being able to continuously acknowledge that, like, you're good for me and I'm good for you. Now, things will go haywire once in a while, but there's nothing, that would happen. But it's just acknowledging that you're good for me. Doesn't matter what happens right now. And being able to know that, look, even though it's easier to do things myself,
Yep.
I've always known that it's better when we do it together. We enjoy the victory. Imagine doing something my way, just doing something my way, and I have a victory. I can't share it with you because I have robbed you of your involvement and your participation.
And it's funny enough, sometimes it's like you are secretly wishing the other person doesn't succeed because you're saying
Yeah.
it's not the right way to do it. You see. And one of the things I remember in our relationship, just rounding up, is that one of the things that we always say to each other is, if you allow each other, the fact that you fail doesn't mean I won't support you.
Yeah.
So in essence, I rushed to do something and it cost us money. Rather than him now coming, and this is practice, trust me. Rather than him not coming to say, I told you so. It's like, okay, how can we
Do it together.
mop this
Yeah.
up? And the same on,
And I think the lesson here is that doing things together takes learning, takes a process, takes developing. It would help you to develop yourself, develop your personality. You will make mistakes and stumble, but you get to know how to do it better. But what you don't want to do is get used to doing something separately, and you don't come together to do things together. So we want to encourage you wherever you are that, get to do things together. It will benefit you. That's what God wants for you.
So please share it, listen to it, share it with others, because we know it's going to be a big blessing to you. It has been to us as a family. Subscribe. It's really good if you subscribe and share. God bless you. See you next time.
Bye.